we've got our eclipse glasses on to see the sun and some of the biggest stories in sports from this past week. Actually, these are pitch black. I can't see a thing. Let's get into it with women's basketball.
Syracuse saw a lot of things like that throughout the first 4 matches of the season. Winning its first 4 duels, that catapulted to winning 7 of its first 8.
Citrus TV still on the quad, and clearly there are some interesting outfits here. Phil, how did this come together?
So I'm getting married. It's my bachelor party. I'd like to say shout out to Caitlin.
With Philip Galati, I'm Jesse Cook. Hey, who's had more fun than us?
Nobody.
Nobody!
I see there's a lot of, looks like green rally towels behind you.
Yeah, you're seeing green rally towels right here. Give me a whopping $30 on Boston University to win the national championship. That's what I want. I want to see the Terriers take it. We have to start running because when Dino Babers stepped into the head coaching role in 2016, the program was essentially a runaway train headed off the tracks. Oh! How does that even happen? Otto's fucking entire head around. This is Jesse Cook with Otto the Orange, the most famous man in all of college sports, sending it back to you guys outside the dome. Back in central New York, it was a great day for the color guard with the Orange taking on the Big Red in lacrosse. Syracuse and Cornell went to overtime last year and the Big Red won. How about another? Philip, on an awards show episode, who's enjoyed more success than us?
Nobody.
So we had the Citrus TV Awards this past weekend, and Phil, you were named the best host at the station.
Yes, I was. I got a trophy too.
That's a pretty nice award there. Elephant in the room, the 2-3 zone. Is it something you use a lot, a little, or not at all? Now, if you want to know how big 7'4" really is, well, these boxes in front of me are 1.5 feet tall. I'm 5'7", and I'm still a little bit shorter than Naheem McLeod. No one has been there to answer the question, who they? Who they think they're going to beat them Bengals? Nobody.
But hold on, Jesse, you were named the best anchor at the station.
Would you look at that?
And the boys are going out tonight. Let's go, baby.
Oh, man. Citrus TV on the quad. If Syracuse wins, the boys are going out tonight. You heard from Phil. Back to you guys.
Roll Tide, go Longhorns.
I looked through some old pictures, some old athletic photos. You've got long hair now, but what happened to the mullet?
Yeah, the mullet. I mean, it's kind of here. I still got it.
Down the drive chant, you know, oh, oh, oh. You see, maybe it's that the Bearcats keep dropping games by 1 score while the Cougars are getting shut out by Kansas State.
Well, the collection's complete. How about that?
Should we pose for a picture?
Yeah, why not?
All right. We're having a lot of fun in the last show of the year, and part of that fun takes us to the tennis courts. SU had not lost to BC since 2020. So, after that losing streak, I guess, luau's over. That's wild. Look, I could join the wackos and wear the SDSU hat, but $5 says the ranked team does what ranked teams do best. Watch here. Cutto Schreinermacher is hanging right by the net. Off this pass here, you watch Pika Vanderpas at the top, goes straight through, and Schreinermacher is right there on the doorstep.
Kind of starting to bring it back this summer. Definitely not as impressive as the one in high school was.
Not yet.
Not yet, yes.
It's time to get weird. Now, I'm not talking about this. I'm not talking about this. I'm not even talking about this. I'm talking about this. Boston University has been elite when playing in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
You know, I do not think that collegiate tennis is for me. I think I could do it. Yeah, I think my hips are done for the month. Maybe we should leave it to, the college athletes who are about to go to the playoffs, play the ACC tournament. So, what's that? I forgot. Oh, it's softball season. Syracuse still in the middle of its campaign. They just played Clemson this past weekend with Colgate ahead.
And I guess the first place Miners and the fourth place Oilers aren't allowed to play normal games. This is the third doubleheader between the two, after Saturday was the fourth rainout between these two squads. The last time that the Orange played a game at a neutral site, well, they didn't fly out of here. They went on a bus to New York City to fly out to Honolulu for the Maui Invitational. Hey everybody, touchdown in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I'm the first member of my family to ever visit this state, and as you might have guessed, it's the first time that Syracuse and Oregon have played here as well. And why are they here? Well, it's to celebrate the 10th birthday for the Sanford Pentagon. Well, Phil, the weather conditions around me right now, a little bit of snow, cold, that's exactly what the softball team had to endure that entire week leading up to the game. Balancing puck in class is still part of the job description for Scott. He's got to finish up his courses at McGill to get his degree, but it's those brains that his coaches say make him ready for the pros. And how's the arm feeling after the hit by pitch?
That's nothing. It feels good. I mean,
That's nothing. He's a tough one. NCC News rolling back along. Jesse Cook with you for sports. Long story short, people are hitting the road. Syracuse forward and at times center Malik Brown entered his name into the transfer portal on Monday. Tying run at the plate, Lourdes Scoriel Jr. 5-4 to 3 for 2. 1-0 series lead for the Phillies. Monster trucks pushed Syracuse women's lacrosse out of the dome and off to Cicero North Syracuse High School. In those two events, we had one where one squad bulldozed its opponent and crushed everything in its path, obliterating all that stood in its way. The other was Monster Jam.
Andrew, what do you think about a furniture change in here?
We're taking the desk over here now? Is that what you're telling me?
We're doing something like that. We're spicing things up.
What do we
Just
got?
like how Syracuse women's basketball is trying to spice up that resume. Made the WNIT last season, but trying to move up to the big dance March Madness this time around.
I think you're right, Ian. This was the best that we've seen from Judah Mintz. He scored more points. He dropped 33 against LSU about 3 months ago at the beginning of the season. But this was more about what he didn't do. He didn't hog the ball. He didn't take contested shots. He didn't play hero ball.
SU Athletics announced Tuesday morning that forward Benny Williams has been dismissed from the team. Last season, he started all besides 8 games. This year, Williams began every game on the bench. When the 4-star recruit skipped a big game last season against number 11 Virginia, questions swirled about his standing back then, over a year ago. That led to this interaction between Jim Boeheim and our reporter Sam Corcoran.
Coach, what's the status on Benny Williams?
Is that your question? That's the most important question you have.
Syracuse and Louisville playing on a senior day. That happened a year ago, and in that match, Louisville won, not only ending the season with a win, but also spoiling whatever NCAA tournament hopes that Syracuse had. It was roughly this time 8 years ago when Syracuse football introduced Dino Babers as new headman, and he told fans to watch out for an offense that was faster than anything they had ever seen on turf. Well, now it's time to introduce Fran Brown to take his spot. With Annie Claff, I'm Jesse Cook. This is a Citrus TV special report. Welcome inside the Carmelo K. Anthony Center on the campus of Syracuse University. I'm Jesse Cook, that's Chillicothe Adele, and it's the basketball preview show, which means it's probably the most exciting time of the year because we get to see a first look at the men's and women's teams. Both Syracuse and LSU missed the NCAA tournament last year. The Orange come into tonight's contest straight off the Maui Invitational, winning just 1 game of the 3. That was against Division II Chaminade of Honolulu. This game comes down to 2 main factors. How well can Syracuse shoot the 3, and who can hunker down on the boards? It's an uphill battle from Syracuse. Number 5 Clarkson against unranked SU. The Orange winless for over a month. The Golden Knights undefeated, 14-0-2. 2 teams on opposite paths, and it all comes to a head here on Tuesday night. Hockey Fights Cancer Night. Welcome into the rafters of Kennedy Ice Pavilion. I'm Jesse Cook with Luke Burgess. The Orange are in desperate need of a W. Well, right before Christmas, Adrian Autry watched his team and how they carried themselves in the last few minutes, and he acted like he found coal in his stocking. Syracuse has now seen graphics like that light up 3 times in a row with a trio of wins against non-conference opponents. And that out of ACC slate wraps up on Thursday at 5, back at home against Niagara. 10 feet tall can feel like a long way up, especially when you're one of the undersized players on the court, a guard. The Syracuse guard crew went pound for pound, blow for blow, inch for inch with Virginia Tech on Tuesday night. The Orange came out with the win. On average, SU guards stand about 6'4.5". For Virginia Tech, it's just 6'3", and sometimes that makes all the difference. When the first frontiersmen settled in South Dakota, they relied on everyone on the trail to make a living. Syracuse men's basketball used a similar family mentality to pull together for the win over Oregon on Sunday out in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Thanks, guys. The college playoffs have hit Central New York. Colgate Women's Ice Hockey is hosting the semifinal and championship rounds of the ECAC tournament this weekend. To be the host site, you have to be the top team in the conference, and to be the best, you have to have every part of your program doing its job. That means I need to advance 2 bases to score that run. I could win those 2 bases. I could steal third. My teammate could drive me in. The opponent, the defense, could lose those 2 bases. Maybe the first baseman muffs up an easy ground ball. Maybe the pitcher balks me home. Doesn't really matter. It could be a combination of the two. I could steal third, and the pitcher could score me on a balk. And all that excitement going into this season, but there was a lot of hype around last year, so let's take a look and a listen back to what happened in the 2022 through 23 campaign.
It was a rocky start with just the second loss to Colgate of the Boeheim era. The only other one came the year before in what was then Boeheim's only losing season.
They're a lot better than we are right now.
Life soon looked up for Syracuse with an upset last-second win at Notre Dame, but soon enough, after a string of losses, out came the classic Boeheim charm.
Your attitude is really good.
Another deflating loss for Syracuse.
There were still some pretty fun times.
To thank this team, 2003 team, for the thrill of my life.
But even when orange looked as good as gold, all hope came crashing down.
For Williamson, now Appleby, left wing. Tyree Appleby feeds Williamson, who shoots a right wing three and drains it! Davian Williamson with .2 on the game clock!
Jim Boeheim, 47 years at the helm of SU men's basketball, and he only called it a career.
I'm thrilled to be retired. I felt better the last 2 days than I felt in 47 years.
So that's what it was like last year, but there's a lot of changes heading into year one for Adrian Autry.
You're part of the show, you know.
Lauren Hutchings isn't just a part of the show at Colgate ice hockey games.
He's just doing the stuff behind the scenes that, no one really sees. My parents come to all the games, and so my parents have a conversation with him, after every game.
Lauren's son Justin says he's especially proud of how his dad found something he loves.
It's kind of just showing his hard work and just never kind of giving up.
You need a certification to operate a Zamboni machine. Otherwise, I'd be hopping right in the driver's seat. You need more than just a piece of paper to be Lauren, though. In fact, you need to be more than just a groundskeeper. To be Lauren, you need to be a fashion expert.
I was in Walmart, and there's a guy with a black, kind of like a top hat. I'm like, God, where you got that?
There was no consulting with anybody. I think he just went out and did it.
I was very surprised the first time I saw it. They're so funny. I don't know where they came from, but he pulls it off every time. There's always something new, and I know that all the girls in our team love it. But it just brings a lot of smiles and laughter to the rink.
The crowd really gets excited and into the game, where a lot of times it's like a weight. Plus, I was thinking about retiring next month soon, and I don't know if I can now.
Every piece matters on the way to success. While the women's team chases its fourth consecutive conference title, for Lauren, the wins come every game.
Feels like you actually did something, like you scored the big shot or something, It's just, it makes you feel good, It's just that it makes you have a sense of worth.
In Hamilton, New York, Jesse Cook, Citrus TV. It's no secret that failure is a part of sports and life. Success is too, but those pitfalls amidst the competition can drive kids away.
I think youth sports is at a crossroads.
Tracy Parker is the girls' lacrosse coach at Jamesville DeWitt High School, and she was an All-American field hockey player at Syracuse University in the late 90s.
There's that self-doubt sometimes that if I'm not doing the XYZ club, that I might not be good enough.
It's not just comparing yourself to others. To SU ice hockey forward Sarah Thompson, sometimes it's these simple struggles.
It's not easy to get up every single morning at 6 a.m.
And with those early mornings comes important lessons.
Great opportunities just to learn how to build friendships, how to deal with when things don't go well, because Lord knows in sports, not everything goes well.
Dr. Jeff Pauline is a professor of sports psychology at Syracuse, and he was an athlete too. The former tennis player is married to a former swimmer, and both their kids play high school sports. If you ask around, there's one common theme to keeping kids in the game.
They want to have fun.
I think my teammates.
So what keeps high school sports teams like the JD Girls Lacrosse Squad coming out to practice out of season on a rainy Saturday in October? It's not a trick question. It's a love for the game. It's a love for competition. It's a love for teammates. Maybe, just maybe, the coaching staff has something to do with that.
Well, I was fortunate. There was two major things. I grew up in a really small town. I had unbelievable high school coaches.
And hopefully what we have too is quality adult leadership.
Those lessons expand beyond the game, but how long do they last? NBC's youth sports outlet Sports Engine says that 70% of kids quit by their teenage years. To Coach Parker, a sports education is vital in adolescence.
There's just something about a dynamic of a team and those friendships and those bonds and those lessons that you learn that you take with you for life.
From the checkpoint between on the field and off, I'm Jesse Cook, NCC News. Fenway Park provided for a loud introduction to the new ACC. What felt like a home game for victorious Boston College turned into a rude welcoming party for SMU. The Mustangs are set to join teams like Syracuse, Wake Forest, Georgia Tech, and yes, BC in the ACC in 2024. It's not just the music and the noise that makes it a different feeling.
We're going to have quality depth to make it through a full season, and I think that's going to be the biggest adjustment. The accomplishments of this team this year aren't diminished. It's a really good football team. Super proud of it. Won a championship, did a lot of really good things.
Even after a loss at rainy Fenway Park, SMU felt confident about its future in the ACC, but in front of the intimidating green monster BC, the victors in the contest weren't scared either.
They're a good team. I mean, I have a ton of respect for everything that they've done this year. They're ranked as high as 17 in some of the polls. Cal coming in and Stanford coming in. It'll be different, but we'll do our thing and focus on ourselves this offseason.
We know what it's going to take because it's not just a one-game deal when you're in a league like the ACC. It's the week in, week out.
Teams take it game by game, week by week, and this week the Eagles earned their wings. From the last step before the new look for college football takes hold, and at Fenway Park in Boston, I'm Jesse Cook, Citrus TV.
I'm Jesse Cook saying thank you so much for watching.